Okay, there.
That's a good question. No question, maybe.
I'm gonna put it closer to you guys. There.
Are you all done?
She wants 14. Say hi, guys. 14.
Hi, Kaya. Where's your brother?
He's getting finger knitting.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Hey, Nigel. Good to see you. I see Andre.
Good to see you.
Looks like Alden is trying to join us. I'll get myself organized here. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Yeah, keeping busy?
Yeah.
There's Alden and Abigail. Miss Kirsty and I have been very busy this morning. We've recorded a whole bunch more lessons for you.
Okay.
You can space them out. You don't have to do them all the day they come out. You can space them, and we've got enough to last you all week and then some.
Okay.
Where's Krish? Hi, Krish.
Hello.
You knitting?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, we'll give people a little time to join in. Oh, Alden's got his Legos. Okay.
Legos I got for Christmas.
Whoa, that's a big bucket of Legos.
Yeah, and look, it came with stuff I can build. I got a motorcycle.
Awesome.
It keeps falling apart because it's cute. Hello.
Okay. I'm sitting in my usual read aloud spot. I've got the birds behind me,
Oh.
so they'll be squawking away.
Well, that's bad.
No, we want it to feel just like a normal day, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it's gonna be kind of hard. Oh.
Looks like Andres is attempting to join. Andres, can you hear me?
Hi.
Okay, you're working on your video. All right. Oh, here comes Addie
Come here, bud.
and Sam. Here they all come.
Yay.
Teacher can see you, everyone can see you.
Oh, I gotta. Hang on.
There we go. There's Andres. Hello, Sam.
Hello. Hi, Addie. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Addie.
Hello. Hey, what's happening?
Oh, there's Jack.
Hello.
Oh, and Kay and Krish.
Hello.
Oh, Carissa's joining in. Awesome.
Oh, good. Oh, there's Alden, Abigail, Nigel. Oh my goodness.
Swing. Last day we leave from school because
Oh, good. Faith is joining. Awesome.
of lots of tingling.
Nor. Oh, no. I don't think.
You don't need to cut it again.
Hello.
So,
There's Faith. Hi, Faith.
oh, Ada.
What should I do? Nice.
Hey, Joey.
Hi, Jam.
Hi, Ada.
Hi. Hey, hi. There's a camera with a red
Hello,
line
Eva.
through it. You can fix that.
Is that clear? Is that clear enough?
Irene, we can hear you, but we can't see you yet.
Huh?
You just have to turn on your video.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Can you hear
There
us?
we go. There's Ada.
Yeah, we can
Hi.
hear you.
There's Gavin. Hi, Gavin.
Ah!
Thanks, Fortune.
Good to see you guys.
Danny's here.
Here's some more friends.
Say hi to everybody.
Carissa, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wait. There. Now I can see you. Oh, you're on the move.
Made one.
Wait.
Ada.
Here she is. Hi, Carissa. Hi, Danny.
Here we are.
Okay, there's the Mayhews. Hello.
Us is here.
Hi, Ada.
There's Ada.
Ada, where's Nana?
Oh, good. We got. Awesome. Hey, Gavin.
Yeah, do you want to sit?
Hi, Gavin.
It's Gabe. Hi, Gabe.
All the young ones.
Here she is. And there's Nora and Morgan.
Hi, Sama.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to you.
I cannot. They're all in that class.
I should have done your
There's
hair
Eva.
Wait. Can you get it back to the original thing?
Set up so you guys.
When we did it.
Okay, we already beat yesterday. Yesterday we had 21 and we already have 23 of you joining in. Oh, it keeps going up.
Here.
Oh, Leo. Hi, Leo.
Hey, Leo.
Oh, Leo.
Here's Miles. Hey, Miles.
Hello. Everybody's doing it.
How did you do that?
Anna's here.
I like how Sam just keeps waving. Sam's just going to keep waving continuously.
Ada.
Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Hi, Sam.
Oh, Arish.
Sam. Here's Sharon.
Here's Aaron.
Here he is. Hi, Arish.
There.
There's Owen and Mira.
Speaker view. Hello. Speaker view. So much. Alexa. Stop.
Hey, Irish.
Okay. Axel, you have 2 windows opening. Not sure what that's about.
I don't know.
Hey, what?
Hey, Gabby.
Oh, do you see us on there, Joe and Joey?
Hey,
Can you see the Mayhews?
All right,
No.
we're good. Thank you.
Okay, Axel, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Hold on, baby.
Are you in a UFO?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me fix it.
Hey, Gabby. Let's fix the whole Jack. Goody.
There's Alina.
Hi.
Go take a seat.
Okay, you're set.
Axel,
Axel, we can only see lights. And Carissa, where are you?
Oh, wait a minute.
Ada.
Hold on.
There we go. There we go. Ah,
Oh,
perfect.
there you
Ah.
go. Okay.
Okay, you're all set now. Great. We have 25 today. Way to go. Yesterday we had 21. Today we have 25. This is awesome.
Jack.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Okay, I'm going to mute you all. So can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome. Oh, that made me so happy, all those thumbs up. Okay. All right. So we have a few people that didn't make it yesterday. And part of that was my fault. I didn't get the email to everybody. So thankfully, I think everybody's got it now. And so if you were not with us yesterday, I'm just going to review a couple of rules. Number 1, I would like you to be dressed when you come to read aloud, please. You don't have to have shoes on, but I'd like you to have at least a top and some pants on, okay? And number 2, I want to make sure that you are joining us with your parents' permission, always. So they don't have to sit with you, they don't have to stay right next to you, but they need to know that you are on, you know, a digital meeting or a virtual meeting with me, okay? And the read aloud from yesterday, has been posted, so you can watch it again. If you missed it yesterday, you can watch it for the first time. If you were there, you can watch it again. And I will do the same with today's read aloud, so you can watch it again later if you want to. And Miss Circe and I have been busy all morning. We've recorded a bunch of new lessons. We're gonna put those up this afternoon, probably this evening. And then tomorrow's email will kind of give you the rundown of what new lessons are out there and suggest an order for you to go through them. But please don't feel that you have to rush to do all the lessons. They're gonna be there and you can take your time. And don't forget that in the classroom, you would have a lesson and then you would practice, sometimes for several days before we would go on to the next step. So I want you to be implementing that practice every day with those lessons, okay? And you'll probably come up with some interesting ways to practice them. All right? Okay. I'm gonna occasionally check in with you, and you'll give me a thumbs up if everything is okay. If you need something, I figured it out now. Yesterday I didn't quite have it figured out, but today I can see everyone's face. So if you need something and you need to interrupt me, put your hand up real clearly so I can see it. I'll try to notice, but I have a screen with 27 faces on it. So I may miss something, but I'll do my best. And you'll notice today I'm sitting in my usual read aloud spot. I have the birds right behind me. They're going to be making noise throughout the, oh, Alina, do you need me? Hold on 1 second, let me figure this out. Wait, where are you? Yes, Alina.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, so for that, you're gonna be able to just go whenever you need to, and we will miss you, but you'll come right back and you don't have to interrupt me to tell me that. If we were in the classroom, I would notice a little more, but it's your parents' business now, not mine, okay? Sound good?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. There's, all kinds of important questions that have to get answered. All right. Guys, we're going to finish Toby's story today. Can you all hear me okay now? Thumbs up? Okay, awesome. Chapter 16. Oh, I just remembered. We left off on a really sad note, didn't we? We just found out, oh, I'm sorry, what a bummer. We just found out that Granddad has been moved to the hospice wing of the hospital, which you will remember is a place where patients go when they're toward the end of their lifetime. So that explains why everyone has been so sad. So Tyler and Mona and Patsy and Fran and Toby are visiting Granddad right now. Tyler put me down on the floor and we went along the hallway in a pack. Patsy, Fran, Mona, Tyler, and me. Mona kept hold of my leash. In a moment I saw that we were headed for the quiet place. I don't think you've been to this wing before, Fran said to Tyler as we walked. It's just a place where we can take very good care of people like your grandfather. Everything is about keeping them comfortable, about taking care of them and their families. Whatever your grandfather needs, we'll make sure that he has it. And I've been in touch with your mother. She and your father will be here as soon as they can. Tyler nodded. I looked up into his face and Mona's, trying to decide why everyone was so sad. We'd had so much fun running. What had happened? Fran opened a door and Tyler went inside. He reached out for Mona's hand, the one holding my leash, and held it. So Mona and I went inside with him. Patsy and Fran stayed in the doorway looking in. Granddad was there. He was sitting up in a bed, leaning back against the headboard. I ran up to the bed, wagging hard, and put my muddy front paws up on the quilt, trying to tell him what a good time we'd had, Tyler and I, running along the track. How we hadn't found the ranch and Sadie and Walt, but it was all right because we played chase me with lots of boys. Granddad moved his hand more slowly than he usually did to rub my ears. How'd you do? He asked Tyler. His words came more slowly, too. I won, Tyler said, a little shakily. Toby and I won. He ran the whole thing with me, Granddad. Granddad grinned. Of course he did. And what about this young lady? Is she your girlfriend yet? Tyler groaned. Granddad. Mona spoke up almost at the same time Tyler did. Yes, she said. Granddad chuckled. I thought so. Granddad, what happened? Tyler asked. I dropped my feet down to the floor so I could look up at him better. Are you sick? Oh, it's the old ticker, I'm afraid. Granddad had to stop talking to draw in a breath. just ran out of time. Sit here with me a while, will you? Tyler sat down in a chair. Mona sat next to him and held onto his hand. There was so much sadness in that room that I sat down on Tyler's feet and whined. I wished we could all go outside and run so fast that we'd leave all of this sorrow behind. For the next day or two, Tyler and I still went for a run in the mornings, but after that, we'd go right to Granddad's room. Mona came too, and a woman Tyler called Mom and a man he called Dad were there a lot as well. Sometimes Granddad talked to us and had the energy to reach up and scratch my ears. Sometimes he just lay still. A few days after Tyler and I had run in the woods with all the other boys, Patsy came to find me. I was outside on the lawn, bringing the ball back to Dorothy. I'm afraid I need Toby, Dorothy, Patsy said. I'm sorry to hear that, Dorothy said quietly. I laid the ball in her lap and ran over to Patsy, who gave me a treat. Come, Toby, I have a job for you, she said, and she walked with me down the hall to the quiet place. I was not surprised when we headed for Granddad's new room. Tyler was there, and Mona too. Mom was sitting in a chair near Granddad's bed, and Dad was leaning over her with an arm around her shoulders. Granddad was asleep, leaning back on his pillows. His breathing sounded like Tyler's after he and I had finished our morning runs. I wanted to say hello to Granddad, so I jumped up on the bed. He didn't move. I sniffed at his face. There was a smell I recognized, a faint one that somehow told me Granddad was far away, too far to rub my ears or feed me a treat or call me by my name. I knew what to do. I did lie still. Good boy, Toby, Patsy said softly. Shall I leave you together? Yes, thank you, Dad said. His voice was hoarse. Tyler came over to the bed and stroked my head. He ran a hand along my back. Goodbye, Granddad. I love you, he said softly. Mom and Dad came close to the bed too. Mona hesitated, but Tyler held out his hand to her, and she reached over to take it. I did lie still, feeling the warmth of Granddad's side along my back. All these people were here with Granddad because they loved him. I could feel the love coming from them and how it wrapped around Granddad and held him close. Granddad belonged to all these people, and I did too. It was a new thought for me, and it made me so happy my tail wanted to wag, but I didn't let it. I knew tail wagging was not part of lie still. My life was going to be different from my mother's. She belonged to one person, to Walt, but I did not. I wasn't Mona's dog, or Patsy's, or Tyler's, or Eddie's. I belonged to all my friends. I was everyone's dog. I was surrounded by people who loved me, just like Granddad was. Suddenly, I understood that I was the luckiest dog in the world. That's the end. Well, before we switch gears here, would anyone like to make a comment, or does anybody have a thought to share about the story? If you raise your hand, I'll unmute you and call on you. Okay. Sorry, it's going to take me a second because I have lots of different names to look at here.
But I'm
Why is
already.
it so dark?
I don't know. I turned off the
Can
light.
you do it this way?
Yeah.
Oh, I can do it this way. Great. Okay. Alina, what would you like to say?
Now that I think about it, it's amazing that dogs can listen to humans. I mean, like, if somebody says sit, they will sit. And now that you think about it, it's really amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I liked how in the story, the author found a way to kind of show what he thinks the dog's thought process is and how he connected the words that he heard with the action that the humans wanted from him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it is pretty incredible that dogs really are tuned into humans and they want to do what we say, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that observation. Who else did I see a hand up? Danny.
No. it's lucky that like all these books that the author wrote, there's like always something happening with them. And and this one was really cool, and
Yeah.
I like the story a lot.
Yeah, every story has a different setting, but we get to see how the dog experiences that setting. That's a great observation. Thank you, Danny. Okay, then Ada.
Perspective.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I think I messed something up. Go ahead again.
I like how it's written from a dog's perspective.
Uh-huh. That's really something else, isn't it? To be able to get inside the mind of a dog. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good comment. Okay, oh, I'm gonna go to Carissa.
I like how it's like he can, like, if there was a dog right next to him, he could write a story and he would connect with the dog.
Yeah, I agree. This guy definitely has a hotline into the dogs, doesn't he? He knows what they're thinking. Okay, thanks, Carissa. Axel.
I like how like he's so smart in the beginning when he sneaks out of the fence.
Uh-huh.
That's what I like about him.
Yeah, that was something, wasn't it? I also like how he's really clever to sneak out, but he really has no idea why that might not be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
He has no idea that he's putting himself at risk by running down the road. That's why dogs need us to take really good care and make sure they're safe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jack, did I see your hand up? No? Okay. Miles.
It was really sad because like the grandpa died.
Mm-hmm.
My dog is still whimpering.
Oh, is that Wrigley?
Yep.
Hi, Wrigley. Live and in person. Awesome. Well, it was sad. What do you think about that? Would you guys like it when I read sad books, or is that too hard? No? A couple of you would prefer a happier book? Okay, Joey. Sorry, Joey, hold that thought. I'm not able to unmute you for some reason. Give me a second.
There you go.
Okay. Joey, what did you want to say?
I like how he doesn't know what the names of the animals are.
Oh, like the giant brown, black and white dogs that he he just assumes they're dogs because they have 4 legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny. Things. That's a good one. I like that too. Thanks, Joey. Ava.
I sort of like how the dog's like a little the hero in the book because he has so many friends and he's making all of them happier, even though they have pain.
Oh yeah, what a great observation. Absolutely. The dog is just doing his dog things. He doesn't really understand what an important job he has, and yet he helps all those people. Fantastic. He never even realized that he helped Tyler learn to run faster, did he? Very cool. Thanks, Ava. Okay, one last question from Andres, and then we're gonna find out what our next read aloud is. Sorry, Andres, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
I like how a beagle is able to be a therapy dog.
Yeah. If you've ever known a beagle, they have a lot of energy, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. But the fact that he was able to be trained was really, really remarkable. Okay, thank you, Andres. Great. All right, I'm gonna put everybody back on mute because we have a little more time left. So I thought we might as well dive right into our next read aloud. And I felt like it was time for a more cheerful, fantastical read aloud. Okay, not such a ripped from the headlines sad one. So we're going to be reading The Magical Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. Uh-oh. I see some reactions. Raise your hand if you've read this book. I think there's maybe a couple of you. Yeah, one. Okay, I'm getting a thumbs up from Miles. That's good. All right. Well, let's give it a chance, okay? It's definitely going to be some fantasy in this one. We'll read the first couple chapters and then we'll see what everybody thinks after that, okay? All right. It starts with salutations. This is just a clever word for greetings. Do you believe in magic? Hi there. Yes, I'm talking to you. Well, do you? Do you believe in magic? If you're anything like the boy in this book, you might say no, but I assure you, there is magic all around you. It's true. Don't believe me? Look into my eyes and tell me you don't see magic. And then the author has typed See what I did there? Eyes, the letter I. You can stop laughing. It wasn't that funny, was it? But let's be serious for a moment. Magic can mean different things to different people. For some, it is pulling a rabbit from a top hat or sawing a person in half and then hopefully putting them back together again. For others, magic is a crisp autumn's day or a tender hug from a loved one. For me, magic can be a story, a game, a puzzle, or a surprise that takes my breath away in a single furious gulp. You see, magic comes in all shapes and sizes, and colors and tastes and smells and feelings. Magic may even come in the shape of a book, perhaps the very one we're holding now. Or not. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But sometimes you might have a hard time remembering to seek out the magic in the world, just like the boy in this book. You might be too busy twirling cotton candy, or too distracted by birds sitting on the windowsill, or too tired from organizing the attic to notice. But I assure you, magic does exist. You just have to know where to look. Use your nose, or your tongue, or your eyes, or your brain. Of course, sometimes you can make it happen all by yourself. Would you like to learn about magic? I thought you might. Very well. Repeat after me. Simsalabam. I'm sorry, I don't think all of you actually said that out loud. Please repeat after me. Simsalabam.
Simsalabam.
Okay, brilliant. You're proving to be a good student. Now turn the page. Wait, hold on, stop. Silly me. I think I must have mesmerized myself with all those eyes earlier. I almost forgot one last vital thing before we get into the meat and potatoes of our magical story. Drum roll, please. First, I must explain how to read this book. I cannot tell you when or where to read this book. After all, you might read it on a bus, or in a plane, or in the back of a hay cart. You might read it while brushing your teeth, or brushing your hair, or brushing the fur of your Angora rabbit. You have one of those, right? You might read it in bed, under a bed, possibly while levitating several feet above a bed. If you're so inclined, you might read it in a bathroom mirror backward, or upside down, or downside up. No, I can't tell you when or where, and I certainly can't tell you how. You may read it with your eyes open, or you may read it with your eyes closed. There's a way to do that, you know. You might read it backward or in a mirror, or you might have someone read it aloud to you. You might even find it helpful to read the last letters of certain words in a phrase. There is at least one part where you'll want to find all the capital letters in a section to see what they say. Nice to have options, isn't it? Most important, you should understand that within this book are lessons on magic, sometimes spelled magic with a K. Reading the chapters will give you a tale of adventure and woe and excitement and fun, not necessarily in that order. Reading the magic moments, or those sections hidden here and there, will aid you in uncovering the secrets of stage performance. If you read both types of chapters in order, you may find yourself saying, wow, as you discover an adventure and learn magic. For the most fun, might I suggest reading the book both ways? Now, magician's secrets must be shared if they are to be passed on, so that future generations can accomplish even more amazing feats and dares. This is why I am sharing them with you. But I have a request. Keep the secrets secret. No sharing with your friends or friends of friends. No using them to cheat your neighbors. No shouting them from the rooftops of your town. Trust me when I say that turning a frown into a smile might be the most rewarding magic trick of them all. Much more rewarding than the opposite. Bah, listen to me blathering on. Let's dive in. Are you ready? Brilliant. Turn the page. Okay, chapter 1. In the darkness of a train yard, somewhere on the far edge of town, a shadowy figure emerged from a thick curtain of fog. The person looked back once before dashing alongside several rows of empty train tracks. Now, if you're anything like me, you might flinch when imagining a shadowy figure emerging from a nighttime fog in a nearly abandoned train yard lit only by distant streetlights. But you needn't worry here. It was merely a skinny boy named Carter Locke. If you were to worry about anyone at this moment, it should be the man who was not far behind. The man who was chasing Carter through the train yard, bellowing, "Carter, get back here! Don't you run from me, boy, I ain't gonna hurt you!" This was a lie. The man very much intended to hurt Carter. Thankfully, Carter knew it. So he pumped his legs and clutched his satchel and strained through the murk to see which line of cars was chugging down the tracks and out of the yard. The wail of a horn blasted Carter's eardrums and he stumbled across a rail. Several rows away, there came a familiar metal clanking. A rusty but colorful chain of cars clacked by, catching speed and whisking away the mist. Carter could see clearly now. He jumped over the tracks and raced to keep up with the moving train. From down the yard, the cars kept coming and coming and coming. Red, blue, green, yellow, purple, redder, black, orange, redder still. The colorful train reminded Carter of the first magic trick he'd ever seen. A gentle hand coming close to his face and pulling a red silk handkerchief from his ear, which was tied to a yellow one, which was tied to a blue one, which was tied to a green one, and so on and so on, and on and on. It was one of the few memories Carter had of his own father. Instinctively, Carter touched his satchel as if to make sure the small wooden box was still inside. It was. Carter ran alongside the train, eyeing each passing car for a place to board. Behind him, footsteps sounded in the gravel. Then a gruff, cruel voice rang out, "Carter, don't you dare hop on that train!" The clanging and banging did not drown out the man, who sounded closer now than before, almost directly behind him. "I've got eyes and ears in every town between here and Timbuktu. You'll never escape. Hear me? Never!" Carter tried not to think about what would happen if the man caught him. Instead, he focused on the locomotive. Light glinted off the heavy wheels below as they rolled upon the tracks. The problem with trains is that they are made of metal, and each car weighs a literal ton, if not more. Once they're moving, they move quickly. If Carter got too close, if he tripped, it would be all over. A bright yellow train car was now edging past him. Yellow reminded Carter of a bird he once saw locked up in a cage in the window of a pet store. Weren't birds designed to fly free? Carter took it as a sign that this was the one to reach for, the one that would take him far away from here. Its ladder was just out of reach. Jumping a train in motion may have been hard or even scary for some, but Carter had done it so many times it came as naturally as plucking a coin from behind someone's ear or shuffling a deck of cards with only one hand. Unfortunately, the man who was chasing Carter found it easy too. As Carter was about to clasp the ladder, the man grabbed Carter's satchel and dragged him to the ground. "No!" Carter yelled. They both tumbled across the gravel, rolling beside the wheels of the yellow car that went bump, 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 bump over the rickety tracks, echoing the flutter of Carter's panicked heartbeat. He didn't want to imagine what would happen if the train left without him. So Carter didn't stop moving. He twisted his body until the rolling turned into a somersault. As he pitched himself forward, head over heels, Carter yanked his bag away from the man's grip, planted his feet on the shifting gravel, then leapt toward the train's last car. A ladder hung down from the rear, next to an open door. Carter's fast hands grabbed the bottom rung, his taut tendons holding him tight. Climbing up and onto the ladder, he pulled his feet up and clung to the back of the now racing train. After catching his breath, he moved all the way to the top, taking a seat on the car's roof. The wind whipped his hair around. The train's horn cried out again from up ahead. Looking back, he saw the man kneeling by the tracks, arms raised in anger, screaming into the night, and quickly shrinking into a dot that eventually disappeared in the murky distance. Carter waved goodbye. To the town, to Ms. Zalewski, and to the man who was chasing him. Though if it had been possible to wish the man a bad bye, Carter would certainly have done that instead. The sky turned a beautiful blue as the sun came up. After some time, the familiar rocking and loud metal churning of the train calmed Carter's heart and brought a yawn to his jaw. So he climbed down and into the train car. Inside, hundreds of boxes were stacked on wooden pallets. Plopping himself on the floor beside one such stack, Carter placed his satchel underneath his head like a pillow, then drifted off to sleep, dreaming about hope and fate and destiny and adventure, as well as a fleeting thought or two about the possibility of magic. I'm going to stop there. Okay, so now that you've heard a chapter or so, what do you think? Does anybody have a thought about this new read aloud? Thumbs up, great. Alina, did you have a comment? There you go.
I like how he's running away, and just at the end of the chapter, he's thinking about magic.
Ah, okay, very cool. All right, I see Nigel's hand. Go ahead, Nigel.
I think it's not bad.
Not bad, okay. Good,
Not like the other
I'll
one,
take
just
not
the-
bad. Looking to see, Gavin, is that your hand? Go ahead, Gavin.
There's nothing really I want to say.
Oh, okay, I thought I saw you waving at me, okay. I see you, Danny, I see you, Andres. I just wanna check in with some folks that didn't get to have a turn to speak up last time. I see Amelia would like to share some thoughts. Go for it, Amelia.
I think it's good.
Yeah, have you read that book before?
Well,
No, had you read some others by Neil Patrick Harris?
I think so. Maybe at school.
Okay, all right, well, stick with us. I think it's gonna be a fun one. Obviously, I don't expect you to be riding the rails from town to town like the character in the book, but we're gonna, we can read stories about things that we would never do in real life. Okay, Leo, did you have a comment?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I like when they say magic is real.
You like that part, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, me too. I think that's gonna be a fun one to read. Okay, Danny. What do you think, Danny?
I like that at the very beginning of the chapter he was being chased by someone.
It was very exciting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because it's all fantasy, right? It's not real
Yeah.
life. Okay, perfect. Addie, was that your hand up?
Yes.
Okay.
I like how it goes right into the characters at the beginning of the chapter.
Yes. We jumped in right in the middle of the action, didn't we? That was fun. Yeah, I agree with you. And Carissa?
I think the story is going to be very interesting and funny.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I just realized I have to switch my screen here. Ava, I see your hand. I just want to check because there's a few. Adam Rana, wasn't able to see you before. There you are. What would you like to say?
This is about Toby's story. I thought when he was running on the treadmill with the granddad was a little funny.
Oh yeah. Okay. In the Toby story, you like that part?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm sorry I didn't catch you before.
All right.
I'm still learning this program here. I'm so old I call it a program. That's how old I am.
Oh.
Okay, Ava.
I really like how he just starts talking about magic.
Uh-huh.
And it goes into like a bunch of like things that were like a bunch of panicking.
Yeah. That's great. Okay. I don't think I said hi to Moises. Hi, Moises. Good to see you. And Eleanor, I don't think I said hello to you yet, so I'm really happy to see you there. Wow, guys, we have 30 people here. Almost the whole class is here. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so I'm just gonna give you one more announcement and then I'm gonna say goodbye because I have to get to work making more lessons for you. But I wanted to let you know that I will be back with you tomorrow, same time, to continue the story. And then Mrs. Schneider has volunteered to do the Friday read aloud for us. So you will meet back here. You'll be able to hear the story live with your friends because Mrs. Schneider is going to read to you because I have to go up and get Henry from his dorm closed. So I have to go get him from school on Friday. Well, it's a long story. Anyway, so I had told some of your parents in an email this morning, and some of you may have read it, that I wouldn't be able to do read aloud on Friday, but now we can because Mrs. Schneider's going to do it for us. Okay? But I will see you back here tomorrow, and we'll look forward to that. Okay, Nigel, one last comment.
Are we gonna do this every 2 weeks too? Because
well, you know what, Nigel, I'm going on a one day at a time kind of program here. So I'm planning for tomorrow and for Friday for us to be together for read aloud, and then I imagine we'll be able to keep going next week. I don't see why not, but you know, things change a lot right now. So I will stay in touch, and I will keep communicating with you and let you know what the plan is as best I can. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna unmute you and let you talk to each other for just a couple minutes before we end the meeting, okay? So here we go. Get ready. Watch your ears.
Nora.
Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Alden! 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 Hey, Alden! Can you hear me? Hi, Eleanor. Kevin, can you hear me? Hi, Henry. Can you hear me?
Hi, Nora.
I can't believe we're literally talking across the internet.
Bye, Gavin.
Ready?
By the chicken roll. Bye, Joey.
Talking to you with questions.
Bye, Kaya and Trish.
Sam.
Bye, Sam.
We're literally going across the internet.
Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.
Marissa.
Across the road.
them, but
Bye bye.
It's your note for my birthday.
Oh, you're.
I'm gonna leave.
So what's the joke?
I just wait too.
Bye, guys. See
Bye.
you tomorrow. I missed you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Orange.
I want to go to Orange.
Everybody's
That was Leo.
Milo.
Okay. I'm closing down in 5, 4, 3, 2,
Bye.